Welcome to the Working Mom Rebellion podcast, where rage, rest, and rise all exist in the same breath. I'm your host, Alexis Starks. I'm a mom of two, a leader, builder, boundary setter, and unapologetically ambitious woman. This is the podcast for working moms who are done shrinking, done apologizing, and done pretending that we don't carry the weight of it all. Here we talk about the messy, powerful truth of building a career with babies, toddlers, and sometimes kids in the next room. This is real talk, real strategy, and real rebellion. Let's burn the old blueprint and build something better together. Motherhood made me a better leader, but not in the ways that I thought it would. And not because I suddenly became more patient or more empathetic or discovered some magical ability to multitask. I mean, I did, but no, it made me a better leader because it stripped me down. It broke my identity into pieces, and it made me question everything I thought I knew about who I was, what I wanted, and what made me worthy. And that's when I started to lead differently, not from performance, not from perfection, but from what was left standing that I had to now rebuild into something else, something better. I remember my first day back after maternity leave. Both maternity leaves were very different. With my son, when I came back from maternity leave, I was still breastfeeding. I fortunately worked remotely both times, but with my son, I was constantly breastfeeding in between meetings or during meetings. I'd be camera off and he'd be making noises when I'd be trying to talk. It was silly and I didn't feel like myself. But with my daughter, when I had her, she had really bad reflux for the first 6 months of her life. And so feeding her was brutal. She would be crying. I would be crying. She wouldn't want to latch. I'd try pumping and feeding her from a bottle. And it was brutal. And I remember crying before meetings all the time. I remember trying to feed her and she'd be crying from reflux and trying to snuggle into me. And I'd be crying because I felt like I was failing just to feed her, do the bare minimum. And I would be crying. She would throw up on me. And then I'd have to hop in a meeting, right? I'd either hand her off to my husband or I'd try to put her down for a nap. And then I'd just try to hop into a meeting covered in spit up and wipe the tears from my face. And I barely recognized myself. Honestly, I didn't recognize myself. I was not the same ambitious, sharp, polished woman who could run back-to-back strategy meetings or one-on-one meetings or even just any meeting or get work done with confidence. She just felt gone. And I would try to dive into my inbox and work through a project that I was doing, but my brain felt different and my body felt different. And my priorities had shifted. And it showed, honestly. And I remember I would lead a meeting and, sometimes my team would ask me a question and I wasn't fast to answer or my mind would go blank. Like total brain fog moment, total mom brain fog and I would say, "Let me circle back. I don't know." But inside I was screaming. It was awful. I would think what happened to me. And I remember at night I would lay in bed, whether or I'd be up trying to feed my daughter during the night. But I remember at night thinking to myself that I don't know how to be this version of me. I don't know this time around how to work and be a mom and be a leader. And I felt like I just couldn't be my old self, my old powerful self. But I also knew something else. That older version of me, yeah, she was efficient, she was a badass, she was awesome. But this version, she was deeper, sharper, less tolerant of all the bullshit because I've been going through so much more. All of this, all of the feeding, being a mom to two kids, and now navigating a toddler and a baby with reflux and birth a second time around. I was deeper and sharper. I was more tuned in to what mattered. And I was fiercely protective of my time and my energy and of people, of my team at work. I was very protective of them and trying to make sure they have everything that they need to succeed and nobody gets in their way. So, truth bomb time. Here's the truth that nobody tells you. Motherhood doesn't just grow you, it will dismantle you. It will break your routines, your rhythms, your sense of control, and it will crack open the illusion that you can manage everything with a perfect planner and a full tank of caffeine. I mean, if you can even get a full cup of coffee into you, first of all, kudos to you. But it will crack open all of that. And the world expects you to bounce back after you have kids. It expects you to to bounce back physically, mentally, and emotionally, and to show back up at work like nothing changed. To show back up at work after maternity leave, pick back up right where you left off, as if you're not a whole ass new person with a whole ass new identity. And the world just expects you to be the same person. Like, hello, Alexa, welcome back. Let's get back to it. Oh, you had a baby. Oh, you're a mom. Who cares? It's insane. And they expect you to lead like you're not also trying to breastfeed or leaking milk or missing your baby or even grieving the woman that you used to be. But here's what I want you to hear. You don't become less of a leader when that happens. You actually become more of a leader because you're willing to lead from that broken, open place. Because in that breaking, you gain clarity. And in that unraveling, you learn what actually matters. You learn that maybe your team matters more than you ever thought they did. Or maybe you're less tolerant of all the bullshit, like I said. Maybe you're more clear on projects and more patient or less patient. But the strength that comes from all of this, from unraveling and having to rebuild yourself back up again, it's not flashy, it's not Instagrammable, but it's real. And the best leaders I know, they're the ones who have fallen apart and rebuilt something stronger, not in spite of it, but because of it. Because you have no other choice but to move forward and succeed, whether it's because of your children or because of yourself. You build yourself back up again into something better. And you are not going to be the same person that you were before you had kids. And that's a good thing because you're going to be a better version of yourself, a stronger, more capable, more successful, more powerful, deeper, sharper person. So here's what I want you to know. You don't have to lead like you haven't changed. You don't have to chase your old self. That version of you, she did her job. She did that work then. She built that bridge. But this version of you, she's the one that's going to walk across it. She's the one that's going to walk across the bridge that the old version of you spent all that time building. That foundation that we talked about, building that foundation, you're the one that's now going to benefit from that. Motherhood didn't ruin your leadership or your capabilities, it refined it. Here's how. You now see people, not just performance, right? People, you have more empathy for more people, not just did they do their job, but you recognize that people can be going through a lot more things than just what's on the surface and visible. So you see people. And now you know how to hold chaos and still move forward, navigating breastfeeding and meetings and chaos at home. I mean, if you have more than one kid, it is constant chaos in my household of managing my 2-year-old son and now my 1-year-old daughter and still get work done successfully. So you now can manage chaos and still make progress forwards. You don't tolerate drama because you've literally negotiated with toddlers at 6 a.m. I can't tell you how many times I have had to negotiate with my toddler to change his diaper when he first wakes up from bed. Like, it's not a complicated thing. And at this point, it should be expected. And yet, there's some mornings that it is a full on UN level peacekeeping negotiation. Maybe you also delegate because now you don't have time to micromanage people. You have a finite, short amount of time, and you have to be really productive with what you are spending your time on. So the things that you don't, you can delegate to others. And you know how to make decisions fast, sometimes because you have no choice. You have to recognize that I need to make decisions quickly and now. And how can I do that most effectively? These are not setbacks. This is a superpower. All of these skills that you're practicing in motherhood on a daily basis is superpower. That is your superpower. So stop apologizing for being reshaped. Stop trying to show up like nothing shifted. Everything shifted. You've been reshaped, and these are great things. Let people see those figurative stretch marks on your body, your leadership, your life. That's where your power lives now. Here's your mantra I want you to walk away with. I don't lead despite motherhood. I lead because of it. Let's say it again. I don't lead despite motherhood. I lead because of it. That is your edge. That is your fire. And that is your rebellion. That's it for this episode of the Working Mom Rebellion. If it hit home, please share it with another working mom who needs to know that she's not alone. And if you're ready for real support, for power strategy hours, for digital workbooks, and a truth that doesn't sugarcoat it, click the link in the show notes for more. Until next time, rage, rest, and rise. You don't have to do it all, just what matters.